Hello, and welcome back to TUTV, now live every week. I'm Bruce Bigler.
And I'm Andres Lynch. We have a great show this week. Democratic candidate for Oklahoma's 1st District, John Croisant, joins us later for an interview.
But first, let's take a look at our top stories. Wildfires have been spreading in Oklahoma since Friday, March 13th, and have forced thousands of Oklahomans to evacuate their homes. Affected locations include areas just south of Tulsa and west of Oklahoma City. Early Monday morning on March 16th, a man was found shot in the head in East Tulsa, near East 31st Street. The victim made a 911 call, but couldn't speak clearly to dispatchers because of his serious condition. According to KTUL News Channel 8, the victim's brother first responded after hearing a car horn outside, and the man was taken to the hospital. As of today, March 21st, the victim is in critical condition and no suspect information is known.
Before spring break, the University of Tulsa held several events of Springfest, including a dodgeball tournament and sunset yoga. Springfest concluded with an art festival on Thursday, March 12th on Dietler Commons. Students were able to peruse and purchase different kinds of artworks made by other students, including pottery, posters, and paintings. Attendees could also get free acai bowls from Bondi Bowls, as well as a Springfest t-shirt.
The votes are in, and one battle after another has won Best Picture at the 98th Academy Awards. The film took 6 awards total, including Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Editing, and Best Director for Paul Thomas Anderson. This Oscar season was marked by the competition between One Battle and the action vampire film Sinners. Written and directed by Ryan Coogler, Sinners earned 4 trophies out of a record 16 nominations. Among these, Michael B. Jordan continued his momentum from the SAG Awards to win Best Actor for his dual role as the Smokestack Twins. Third place overall was Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, taking home awards for costuming, makeup, and hairstyling, and production design. In other highlights, K-pop Demon Hunters won Best Animated Feature, while Cassandra Kulakundis won in the inaugural Best Casting Award for One Battle After Another. Autumn Durard Arkapaw was the first woman to win for Best Cinematography for Sinners, and only the 4th woman ever nominated in that category. Conan O'Brien returned to host the event, which saw a 9% drop in viewership from last year.
Yesterday, Markwayne Mullin was confirmed by the Senate as the new Secretary of Homeland Security in a vote of 54 to 45. This morning, Kevin Stitt appointed Alan Armstrong, an energy executive, to temporarily fill Mullin's seat until the Senate election in November. Following the announcement of Mullin's confirmation, Representative Kevin Hern announced his candidacy for the Oklahoma Senate seat, withdrawing from his race for re-election to the House of Representatives. Oklahoma's 1st District was previously considered to be a safe Republican seat, but Hern's absence could open the door to a Democratic challenger to win over voters in the wider Tulsa area. Yesterday, TUTV had the opportunity to sit down with the current Democratic frontrunner, John Croisant.
Hello, I'm Anderson Bell, and I'm here with Democratic congressional candidate for Congressional District 1, John Croisant. John, great to have you here.
Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, midterms coming up. It's going to be a big election year. It's always big, it's always consequential, but this year especially so. And there have been a lot of shakeups in the race as of recently, and so I kind of just wanted to ask you to start off. Kevin Hern's no longer in this race. Do you think that changes the landscape of the race at all, or anything like that?
Yeah, I've been on the Tulsa School Board for the last 6 years, and ran for State House in 2016 as well while I was a teacher at Edison. I was a teacher for 16 years. I've owned an insurance company for the last 7-8 years, and so what I see in these elections is you have to be running for yourself or for what you want to represent, not necessarily against someone else. And so we've got an opportunity to actually have people going out to knock doors, to actually sit down and interview and have debates and do things that we weren't going to see, I think, had Hern stayed into the race, because he hadn't had a debate since 2018. He hasn't knocked a door himself, so he hadn't had a public, just even a public meeting. since February of 25. So
Right.
again, I think having some fresh faces in the race, I think that's always good. I think it's worrisome when somebody can throw in. I think Tedford has already thrown in about $500,000 to fund himself. And I think part of that will play a part in it, but part of why I'm running is to stop some of the money that's going into politics and get back to representing Oklahomans instead of people just getting in to make themselves wealthy.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, kind of on that, why you're running and all that, what would you say are like the top issues that you think matter most to Oklahomans right now, and how are you going to deliver on that?
Yeah, I get to talk to a lot of people. We've already knocked thousands of doors, and what we see is that affordability.
Yes.
Right? Going to college.
Right. Yeah.
Right? For college students. It's healthcare. I mean, for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to an ORU student that told me that she's from out of the country, so she can't have, certain types of healthcare subsidies. She went to the hospital for a migraine. She got stuck with a $5,000 bill.
Wow.
And it's going to take her years to pay that off. That's one long migraine.
Yeah,
I can tell
absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just one instance. There's so many people being impacted from healthcare, utilities, gas prices now going up. We've got tariffs that have been put on by the president, first illegally, and now we're going to see how long those go in, or if Congress actually does its job to actually do its taxation function. Which it's supposed to be in charge of, or if they're going to keep allowing these tariffs to be put on us that drive up prices. We're seeing with the Iran war.
Yeah.
Again, affordability with gas prices, transportation, food prices are all going to go up because of this. That's a big deal for Oklahomans.
Yeah.
The other is that we're 50th in education. We need accountability from the Department of Education, and they need to be finding more teachers in the classroom. And on top of that, they need to make sure that we're actually getting money to local school districts to help support students and improve outcomes. They did that with ESSER funds after COVID, and I think we've got an opportunity to get back to that. Instead of funding ICE, instead of funding the military $1.5 trillion, I think some of that money can be going to help actually improve the lives of everyone in our country. And like in Oklahoma, 42% of jobs, you need a bachelor's.
Yeah.
So graduating from TU, that's a really important thing, like I did in '99.
Absolutely.
But only 27% of Oklahomans have a bachelor's.
Right.
So that means to get a company to come here, they know they're going to have to recruit from out of the state, or we've got to improve our education system.
Right.
And so keeping companies, getting them to come here, it's hard if your education system is 50th. It makes it hard to get people to want to come here and to stay here.
Throughout the process of your campaign, do you have any sort of moment that could be like a big turning point, like significant moment that's shaped your perspective or anything like that?
Yeah, I think the problem is, let's get back to doing things that help people's lives in Oklahoma, which we haven't really done. I mean, for the last 20 years with complete Republican control. And my parents are still Republicans, a lot of my family is, but it doesn't mean that we have to hate each other.
Right.
Like we have to find ways to fix things. That's what we've done on the Tulsa School Board.
Yeah.
We don't always get along, but what you have to do is be able to figure out, for me, I ask a question, is this good for students?
Right.
That's what I ask myself, before I make decisions. It's not the divisiveness we see in social media and the media today itself. I think it's become, where even the people that own the media, they own both sides of the aisle.
Right.
They own the
Absolutely.
conservative media, they own the liberal media, and they just want us yelling at each other.
Right.
Like Scalarico and
Tallarico. Yes,
sorry,
in Texas.
in Texas.
Absolutely.
He'll say it's not about left and right. It's about top and bottom.
Right. Absolutely.
It's about getting people to fight over a lot of these social issues, a lot of the things that only affect 1% of our population or less.
Right.
Well, the 1% of the population that owns everything is giving themselves tax credits and is buying the politicians.
Talked about a lot of big stuff, but you're a TU grad.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite memories from your time at TU that you'd like to share?
I can't share all of them.
Right,
They're my
absolutely.
favorite.
Yeah.
I was a Kappa Sig, so we had a good time back in the 90s. But,
I understand.
But I remember going, playing. I was in the TU band, and playing in front of over 40,000 people at Skelly Stadium against Oklahoma State University.
Yeah.
That was a huge memory for me. Getting to go with the basketball team. to Charlotte, North Carolina to play against Duke.
Yeah.
That was huge in March Madness. But yeah, I had a great time here at TU, but it was the relationships that I built with my professors, with other students. I think that's what really made the difference for me.
Absolutely.
And I really loved my time here, and I think I wouldn't have changed it for anything. I got to play soccer at Air Force Academy with the TU soccer team back in McIntosh's first year, and Tom's first year. So, I've been blessed to be able to go to TU, and the doors it's opened has been great for me, and I'm just really appreciative of it.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think that's all the time we have, so thanks for sitting down with us, and this has been Anderson Bell and John Croisant with TUTV.
Well, Bruce, I saw you at the art festival, and I was wondering what you thought of it. I got myself a little piece of pottery, and I can microwave it, put drinks in it. It's nice.
Come on, yeah. I thought Springfest was awesome this year. They did a great job with the events. One of my personal favorites was the dodgeball tournament. My team entered, half of our team didn't show up, and we immediately got knocked out of the tournament 0-2. Not my best work, but we got to go outside and have some funnel cakes and fried Oreos, so made up for the loss. But overall, I think the culture of Springfest was awesome, and it was a really good time to get everybody excited about TU again.
Yeah, it was awesome. We have lots more exciting campus news coming up. Last week, the Gathering Place ushered in the spring season with multiple events.
Plus, tonight at 6 p.m., the Golden Hurricanes takes on Wichita State in UTulsa's final men's basketball home game. For more details, we go now to Andrew Griffin at the Reynolds Center.
Expect a lot of buzz and traffic tonight on campus as the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes men's basketball team will be taking on the Wichita State Shockers tonight at 6 p.m. for a spot in the NIT semifinals. Both teams enter tonight with an identical 14-6 conference record, but Tulsa holds an impressive 28-7 overall record on the season, while Wichita State has been dominating the glass all year. They rank not only as one of the top rebounding teams in the American Conference, but also in the country. This game will mark the fourth matchup between these teams this season, last meeting in the American Conference tournament as Wichita State eliminated the Golden Hurricane from potentially getting back to the big dance for the first time since 2016. The key players to watch for tonight will be Tulsa's point guard Tylen Riley as he looks to handle the ball and limit turnovers for the offense, as well as Abe Popola, who's been shooting the ball very well over these last few games and overall on the season. It'll be interesting to see how Wichita State game plans for Miles Barnstable, as last game against UNLV, he set the record for most three-pointers in a season in Tulsa history. It'll be interesting to see how David Green's injury is holding up, as he is listed for questionable tonight. He has not played since the previous matchup against Wichita State on March 14th. He would be a great help to get back for tonight to continue the push for this NIT championship. The game is set to tip off at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and you should all look to get here around 5:45 to get here, show up, and show out for the Golden Hurricane. For sports, I'm Andrew Griffin, Rain Kane.
Well, let's get pumped for that. That game's getting ready to kick off right now, but welcome back to your TU TV. I'm Zach Edwards.
And I'm Angelica Ortiz. We have some exciting campus news coming up.
Plus a new segment that checks out restaurant locations in the Tulsa area. Let's just jump right in. Since its opening in 2014, the Gathering Place has been a staple destination for Tulsan residents and tourists alike. TUTV reporter Jess Grimes visited the park to check out the recent events ushering in the spring season.
This month, at the Gathering Place, Oklahoma's largest cherry blossom collection is now in bloom, and with it, the park has a variety of events guests can attend. This past Saturday, March 21st, the park hosted an event called Global Gatherings Japan. The event included a 360-degree view of live Japanese art demonstrations, including work by Gyotaku artist Dwight Huang, whose art has been featured by Patagonia, Forbes, and the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History. It also included an actor from the award-winning show Shogun. Shogun's own Yoshi Amao showcased his mastery of Tate swordwork and took us behind the scenes of the hit show. Along with that, the event also featured a mini convention-style experience with anime drawing workshops, interactive panels, and a Japanese art market. Some of the other events throughout the week include Sakura After Sunset, where visitors can view the cherry blossoms after dark at an illuminated nighttime display in Chapman Foundation's Adventure Playground from March 14th through March 27th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Neon in Bloom, where guests can explore the installation featuring crafts, a community wish tree, and a postcard station, open through April 5th. And a scavenger hunt, where guests can earn a collectible cherry blossom button once complete. For TUTV, this is Jess Grimes.
On March 26th, the International Student Association and Student Activities Board will hold the annual International Bazaar in Lorton Performance Center. Students are encouraged to stop by for a flag parade, performances, and a fashion show from multicultural organizations on campus. There will also be free food and a chance to learn about other countries. For those interested in law school or a profession in law, the 2026 Judge Carlos Chappelle Vision Symposium is an opportunity to see if it's the right path for you. On March 27th, from 9:30 to 4 p.m., you can hear firsthand accounts from law students and lawyers about their experiences in the field and take optional practice LSAT. Prior registration is required.
Tomorrow, March 24th, UTulsa will hold another State of the University panel featuring Interim President Rick Dixon, Provost Jennifer Airy, and Dean of Students Debbie Chalmers. Tune in to TUTV on YouTube for a full live stream of the event. Film study students have put out a casting call for those interested in acting for their final projects. Auditions are on March 28th from 12 to 4 p.m. in Lorton Performance Center. It is open to students and Tulsans of any age and experience level. Audition materials will be provided on site. For those interested in prosthetics and biomedical technology, join Martin Bionics and the Student Union, Great Hall B, on March 31st for a lunch and learn. Get industry insights from professionals and learn how engineering and medicine interact in the field. Free Chick-fil-A will be provided.
In 2022, a new family-owned Mediterranean restaurant was started in Owasso, Oklahoma. Next up, reporter Andreas Lynch checks out the establishment in TUTV's new segment, Restaurant Review.
It's Tuesday, March 10th, and right now I'm heading to Mozilla's with my friend Joseph. It is a Greek restaurant, and we're visiting to find some nice vegan food during Lent because we cannot eat meat, dairy, or eggs. I'm interested to see what this entails.
Mozilla's is a Greek restaurant in Owasso, so it's about 17 minutes from campus. I heard about it from my friend at church, and I wanted to check out what vegan stuff it had. The restaurant is actually not that old. It was founded at the end of 2022. It's not a chain, it just has one location here, and they make gyros and kebabs, also some hummus and desserts. It's a nice, small, family-owned place. The interior was very nice. There were many cool vintage signs and posters on the wall. There was also some nice music playing, and the vegan options were great, as you're about to see, even though my friend ended up not getting a vegan option, but we'll pretend that didn't happen.
I thought it was very good. You can't beat Greek food. I mean, the flavored rice, delectable. The lentils, awesome, very lemony. The salad, delicious. Greek salad, best kind of salad. And I was very pleased with the quality of it. It's very nice, pretty cozy place. Very good music in the background. I give it 5 stars. You know, why not?
I think it was great. I loved the fries, first of all. I know I sound like an American saying that, but the way they do it, where it's so crunchy and there are crumbs on the coating, it's so good, delectable, like you said. The falafel was also really crunchy. It reminded me of kava, and I thought it's even better than kava because it was cheaper, by the way, and the falafel was just so much better. So that was awesome. And then the bread, the pita bread, was also amazing. It was really smooth and tasted a little sweet, but not too sweet. So it was awesome. Yeah, so this was amazing. I would also give it 5 stars. It was great.
Okay. For TUTV, I'm Andres Lynch.
That's super cool to see. I know that there's a lot of really cool small places in Tulsa, small food businesses that I like supporting, but I was just curious, do you have any restaurants that you've gone to recently that you really enjoyed?
So I recently went to Cava on Peoria, and I thought it was pretty good. I just got one of the chef-made bowls, but you can make your own bowls at that Mediterranean restaurant. So I think you should really check that out. It was pretty good.
Love to hear it. Coming up, more campus news, and our weekly Music Minute continues.
But first, SGA President-elect and TUTV's own Bruce Brigler has information on new applied positions in SGA's cabinet. We go now to our host, Anderson Bell.
Thanks, Angelica. I'm here with SGA President-elect Bruce Bigler. Bruce, you want to tell us a little bit about cabinet applications?
Yeah, I'd love to. So right now is a really exciting time in the whole SGA process because as we're trying to decide what the next year is going to look like, we're opening up cabinet and Chief Justice applications to decide the group of people that we will make those changes with. Yeah. So like I said, two main categories, Chief Justice and cabinet. So Chief Justice is a really special role this year because in the past, the judicial branch, I would say, has not always had the most defined role. They've been kind of limited in their scope and ability, and so I want to change that. I want to give them purpose, and I want somebody really strong and really capable at the head of that to make judicial a branch that actually impacts the student body and that does good for students. Yeah. And then on the other side, cabinet applications, we have 6 different cabinet positions, all that work to make the executive branch function. And so we're looking for people who are really, really dedicated, who are able to pour in so much time and energy into doing their job well and to turning TU into a more vibrant, exciting, and engaged campus. So the links to both of those applications will be in the description of this video. The Chief Justice applications close Sunday night, and then cabinet applications will close I believe 2 Tuesdays on April 7th. So I would love for you guys to go ahead and apply for those positions. We're looking for people who love TU and who are hoping to make real change.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Thanks for telling us, Bruce.
Thanks, Anderson.
Well, couldn't agree more with Bruce, seeing as I am actually going to be on the executive branch with him next year. So I'm super pumped about that. Please apply to those executive cabinet positions. But let's get back to work. Welcome back to your TUTV. I'm still Zach Edwards.
And I'm Luke Montemare. We have some exciting campus news this week, so let's jump right in.
Sarah Bond, Associate Professor of History at the University of Iowa, visited Tulsa on March 11th for a free lecture at 101 Archer titled A History of Rome in 5 Strikes. The talk was organized by Oklahoma Center for the Humanities and discussed parallels between worker organizations in ancient Rome and modern labor unions. Material was primarily drawn from Bond's first book, Strike, Labor Unions and Resistance in the Roman Empire. Prior to the event, TUTV's Michael Searles met Bond for an exclusive interview to further explore the topic.
Our understanding of Roman history is predominantly focused on emperors and empresses and the aristocracy, what we might call the 1% of the Roman population. But there were 60 million people across the Roman Mediterranean, which means that a large percentage of them were not elites, were not senators or equestrians or super rich people. And those are the people that I focus on a lot in my work, specifically artisans and craftspeople and their creation of associations. And a lot of these associations are very akin to guilds or to modern day labor unions. People have thought that the first strikes, the first labor unions occurred really with the advent of the early modern period within Europe. But my book is arguing that we can see a lot of parallels with the methodologies of occupational associations of the past, like ivory workers or construction workers or craftspeople that are working on lead pipes. Groups of people that are much more like you and me than any Roman emperor ever was. My family comes predominantly from individuals that might be seen as much more marginalized within the ancient world. We're talking about railroad workers. My dad was a veteran. I didn't feel like someone who was extremely wealthy or a part of the aristocracy within a field that is considered to be extremely elitist. It's not just stories of extremely wealthy Roman emperors and Nero and Caligula and all of the ones that they see within the movies, but understanding that ancient Rome, although it's thousands of years away, that there's a commonality that perhaps is much more important than whether Nero had a golden dining room.
Earlier this month, graduate students from the Biological Sciences Department presented their research to peers and undergraduate students. TUTV reporter Angelica Ortiz brings the report.
On Friday, March 6th, the Department of Biological Sciences hosted a graduate seminar in Oliphant Hall that included Connor Ferguson's research on a novel larvavirus infecting upland cotton and Caleb Paslay's research on the development and optimization of a multiplex RT-PCR that targets all genomic segments of rose rosette virus.
Today I will be talking about the work that I've done with identifying and characterizing a larvavirus infecting cotton in Oklahoma, and this larvavirus is one of the oldest recognized drawing plant viruses. 2023, during the field survey, we found some plants in Fort Cobb in Oklahoma that were showing virus-like symptoms, and with those virus-like symptoms, we thought, okay, we'll collect sample, bring it back to the lab, extract RNA, and screen for CLRDB and TRC. We determine if it is accepted as a new species or just a different strain of soybean larvavirus. I will tentatively be more conservative and just say it is soybean larvavirus 1, just to be safe. They don't want to make claims that we can't fully support. But we've identified soybean larvavirus 1 infecting cotton for the first time, as well as peanut for the first time. We found 2 unique amino acid stretches that separates out R isolate from soybean larvavirus 1.
Today I'm talking about the development of a multiplex assay. So this is a big work with rose rosette now the last few years. And this virus it has an incredible impact on roses, both the Spix like croculae. Within Tulsa, rose rosette has had a tremendous impact. You can see this little headline here: rose rosette ravages the Tulsa rose gardens, which is not an understatement. And actually, the garden was completely decimated by this disease. So this is a kind of unique component of this virus within Tulsa. The United States had resulted in 25% FMF loss, and so substantial loss for a virus in roses. And then what we would really like to do is test this on future samples, just to get more samples under our belt to say, yeah, this method is working really well. And so this really is in a way, we took opponents from the field, we were able to study it, learn about the diversity of the virus, and then apply that and provide a tool now to the rose industry that will hopefully help in rapid detection.
What are the possible reasons that the rose rosette viruses are so distinct from viruses across the country? And in the rose? Yeah, in the rose rosette virus, you said they had a lot of distinct archetypes here in Oklahoma.
There's a lot of questions about that. Of why in Oklahoma are there isolates that have gone almost completely unnoticed that are really divergent from most other isolates? And probably one thing is just due to not having research here working on it. We have some at OSU, but a lot of times they rely on like a single primary diagnostic. So if the virus is there, it's just yes or no, but they're not sequencing genomes.
With TUTV, this is Angelica Ortiz.
Technology is evolving every day, sometimes faster than we realize. TUTV's Benton Raymer takes us to Phoenix, Arizona to experience some new tech-driven transportation.
One of my favorite things to do when I travel is experience new technology. Like a few weeks ago when I was in Dallas and tried Walmart's drone delivery to get some snacks airlifted to my hotel's front door.
It'll just drop it on the ground.
And over spring break, I was in Phoenix, Arizona. Spend more than a couple of minutes in Phoenix and you'll be hard-pressed not to spot one of these white Jaguars with a top hat driving around. These are Waymos, a self-driving car company owned by Doodle. They're active in 10 cities, with 21 more coming in the next couple of years. They currently have over 2,000 of them driving around these 10 cities, and you can call them from the Waymo app just like you can an Uber or a Lyft. I'd already ridden in a Waymo during a previous trip to Phoenix, so I decided to bring along my grandparents and brother to see what they thought about this futuristic experience.
How you doing? It says good evening, Benton, right here on my screen.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
Yeah, start right.
Can I hit it? Yep. I am horrified. Oh, what? You're going too fast.
It's a residential area.
Yes, slow down.
We're out on the city street.
Oh my.
technology.
2 minutes at 6:26.
So what's cool is you can program in all your adjustments. You can tell it exactly what temperature you want the cabin when you get in.
Wow.
You can even tell it how far forward you want this seat. It's all computer-based. Oh yeah. You see on every corner and on top there's just sensors spinning around and it's seeing everything as we go. So it sees like all of these cars everywhere. It sees people over there that I didn't even notice. These people sitting on that patio there.
Dankeschön. Gracias.
Boy, that was weird.
Thank you.
For TUTV, I'm Benton Raymer in Phoenix, Arizona.
Benton's grandparents aren't the only old couple receiving the spotlight on today's show. Paul and Linda McCartney don't need a Waymo to ram their way into our Music Minute. Take it away, Anderson Bell.
Thanks, Luke, and welcome back to Anderson Bell's Music Minute. Today's album is Paul and Linda McCartney's Ram, released in 1971. Now, this is the second solo album released by Paul McCartney after the breakup of the Beatles, and it's the only album credited to the spousal duo of Paul and Linda. Now, this album doesn't really have the bombastic, large-budget recordings that Paul was more used to on the Beatles, and it took his career in more of a lo-fi direction, blending elements of psychedelia, rock, and pop music. Now, although it was near universally panned by critics in its time, even being called incredibly inconsequential by Rolling Stone, and being labeled as proof that Paul McCartney was being carried and heavily assisted by John Lennon in songwriting, I actually much like this album. Critics at the time were looking for larger scale, heavier lyrical content, but they missed a lot of the simple whimsy that this album has to hold. Now, it's seen as kind of the grandfather of a lot of indie bedroom pop and rock, and it feels very ahead of its time in that respect. Now, looking at the album, there's a ton of standouts. Number one, Too Many People is one of my favorites on the album, which actually sparked another feud between McCartney and Lennon, with Lennon taking it as a personal attack and writing the scathing "How Do You Sleep" in response. Ram On, the title track, is a simple track driven by Paul's ukulele and vocals. It only has one verse of repeated lyrics, but they're simple and meaningful. And another one of my favorites, Monkberry Moon Delight, is kind of a nonsensical song, but it has some of my favorite guitar work on the album and is a great song. Overall, I'd give this album a solid 8.5 out of 10. It feels quintessentially like Paul McCartney. It's simple, it's goofy, it's fun, and you should give it a listen.
Wow, really interesting to hear about Anderson. Personally, I'm really excited for getting a kick into spring, so I was just wondering, what was your favorite part of spring break?
Honestly, watching the Oscars and watching a lot of movies, I managed to see Sinners right before, and happy to see it win a bunch of awards, but it was just nice to get a break from everything.
That's so awesome. I probably, that's all I did for spring break, was just watch movies and play video games all the time, so the Oscars was something really interesting to tune into. Mm-hmm. Enough about us. We're excited to continue pushing in through spring, through this semester with you, so thank you for joining us on this week of TUTV. We'll see you next week.